peacock colored one right there. She is the one we call Meningeal, and I've described as kind of being a special needs goat. I didn't actually read what my wife wrote last night, but I mean, she's beautiful, as you can see. You know, she was bound to be a keeper for us, and unfortunately we had a terrible season 2 years ago, I believe it was, 2 summers ago, where we had about, I don't know, 5, 6. I don't know if you can watch right now, the dragging of those back 2 legs, which is kind of Meningeal-like. Zoom in a little bit. Meningeal-like. However, she actually was not the most myotonic goat we had before, so she almost became slightly more myotonic. See, just a little stiff. Let's see, just kind of a little peg-legged in the back. I'd say the biggest difficulty she has is if they all start to get galloping, and she'll run with the herd. You know, she can run. She actually can run pretty well, perhaps even better than she can walk. But if they start kind of doing what we call crazies and kind of running sideways and bucking around, that's when she kind of gets, she can't turn on a dime. You know, there's just kind of continued, as you can kind of see her there, continued just a lack of range of motion, inflexibility, I mean, paralysis is what it really is, in her hind, that, you know, some of those nerves just kind of died, and so she just doesn't have the full range. So there's nothing wrong with her. She's with the herd. She's always with the herd. You know, and it was a concern that we had kind of a year ago, and she's kind of grown. She's filled out, similar to other goats her age. But as I was mentioning, she was originally supposed to be a keeper, and unfortunately we had a season where we had 5 or 6 yearlings, you know, in the, I reckon, 4 to 6 month range, that kind of all kind of one after another over the course of probably 60 days all contracted meningeal, which is deer worm. You can look it up if you're not familiar with it. We haven't had any this year, knock on wood, which is a little unusual. We've kind of always had 1 case a year, maybe a second suspected case. Most of the time there's no ill effects if it's treated properly and promptly. I don't know if you can see that brown one right there on the other side of the creek. She had meningeal at the same time. That would be a half sister. And she has a little weakness too, a little bit of lasting effects, but it's not right there. It's not enough that I'm all that concerned about her ability to kid or anything like that. Again, that's really our concern with her, and you can still see she's right in the closest to us right there. I'm not confident that she could carry to term kids, especially multiples, just with that weakness in the hind end. So there's really nothing wrong with her. She's pretty cool doeling. I mean, like I said, she was definitely on the lower end of myotonia relative to some of our other does, or she was going to be. However, her disability has kind of put her seemingly much more in the myotonic category. But yeah, I mean, that's I just came out here and I spotted her. So right there, coming out right here in the front is Mom. That's her mom. You can see Peacock. She's one of our older does out here, and she's awesome. And right behind her is actually her twin sister, who also had meningeal, she had a full recovery. She had it at the same time, I believe. So said it was just a weird season that year. I mean, we have tons of deer here. They're thick, and you know, I don't know. Every case that we had was a 4 to 6 month old yearling. So I don't know if it was a age-related issue. You know, we've had myotonics for about 10 years, and as I mentioned, we've kind of every year had a case or two, but that year was just odd. And I can't even say that. I mean, they say it's wet conditions that can bring it about, and I can't say that it was particularly anything. So I don't know. One of those weird things that, I mean, I think we actually spoke to one of our mentors, another farmer who has a similar sized herd, and he also had some issues. So I don't know. So it's one of those things. But anyway, she did not make that full recovery, whereas just about everyone else either made a full recovery or did not. You know, whatever effects there are quite minimal. And again, if meningeal's not something you're familiar with, we have some pretty crazy videos of a variety of these, both from that year and from past years, who have contracted it, and you know, just what it does. You know, it's pretty awful. But if it's treated, it seems our success, particularly with the older ones, is pretty high, with no lasting effects. You know, we had one who's out there who went full paralysis, fully down, front and back, hind legs, front legs, everything, all feed, and you know, we were pretty close to thinking she was done for, and she ended up making a full recovery with no lasting impacts at all. So one of those things that the internet tells you a lot of different stuff, and our experience is that what the internet says is not actually necessarily the truth. But so yeah, that is some of our herd out there. There's some other goats that are up at the hay, and there's others of the field behind me. But that one in the center that I showed you is meningeal. I'm trying to. I didn't think to try to spot the polder boy. But yeah, I'll make this video. Hopefully I'll throw this up on YouTube, and I'll send you all a link and go from there.